In this tutorial, I just wanted to show a quick tutorial on how to do some basic color correction. And so what I've done, this is what the original clip looks like, and there's certainly some things we could have done lighting wise to make this look better in the first place. But we're going to do just some basic, even if it looked good, we're going to do some basic color correction to it. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually come to my filters area here. And I'm going to come down to color under video, and I'm going to click and drag color correction on top of this video, and that will add a color correction board here. I had one on already that I made some changes to, so it looks a little bit like that. I took a little bit of the blue out, and I just added some contrast. So I'm going to do basically the same thing on this one. So this is, again, color correction. You just click and drag it over onto the clip. Then I click this little arrow here, or this little chevron next to color board, and that takes me into my color correction area. So there's three things up top here that we can play around with. There are also some presets that you could try and play around with. I don't often like the look of these presets, these particular presets. So I'm not going to mess with them, but I'm going to start with exposure. Usually the first thing I do with exposure, and this is just a look that I particularly like, is a higher contrasted look. So I'm going to increase exposure overall, and you go, oh, that looks terrible. But then when I start to drop the blacks down, I get it a little closer to what I like. And then I might play with the shadows a little bit, or the midtones, I mean, a little bit, to sort of get an idea of what that's going to look like. And then highlights as well. I might just sort of see what looks good, if I can get something to look decent there. So I'll sort of play around with that just a little bit, and that's probably pretty good for me for now. So let me just show you what that looks like. So it doesn't look like we did a ton to it, but notice how the colors and everything just pop just a little bit more. So that's one thing that I like to do, and I might bring some detail back into some areas, but that's the contrasted option. And then the second thing is in the color. I just want to bring a little bit more kind of a reddish color back into this, because it just, it just looked a little too blue, and so I'm going to bring a little color back into the face. And again, turn it off, turn it back on, and notice the difference that we just made there. So again, with color correction, just click and drag it over, and then you can make some options or some changes inside the color board later. You can play with the presets and other options as well, but typically the thing I do the most in here is just adjust the exposure.